Welcome back to my channel. I am your favorite mother of 3 bougie vintage, and today's video is a chit chat. Get ready with me. You're probably freaking out by the title. We'll get into that momentarily. Yeah, I guess I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys today. I feel like I haven't done a chit chat type video in a minute. Okay, I had a completely different plan for today, but something just fell into my spirit, so I decided to do this instead. So before I get into what the video is actually about, I guess we can just start off by talking about the vaccine rollout. Well, is it even considered a rollout anymore? I don't freaking know, because they started giving out the vaccine like last year, the end of last year. I think December is when Canada first started getting it. Even before they started rolling the vaccine out, I already had my reservations about what was going on, because I just felt like the pandemic was such a surprise, out of the blue, so it seemed. And since it was so out of the blue, once they started talking about vaccinations and stuff, I just felt like it was mad soon. Like, they locked us down in March. Obviously, they knew about it a little bit before that, but they locked us down in March. And then by December, there was a vaccine available. Like, it was just a little crazy to me. So I had my reservations about it or whatever. Some of you guys know how I feel about it already, because you follow me on Twitter or you follow me on Instagram, whatever. So yeah, I've not been extremely vocal about it, but like, I've said one or two things. But if you aren't aware, I have my reservations about it. Now, everywhere is different. Every country is doing their own thing, but pretty much America and Canada have started to implement mandates for the vaccine and blah blah blah, which, I mean, I guess I've been trying to figure out why, because originally when they first started talking about the vaccine and stuff, everything they were saying was like, oh, we have to get ahead of it. We have to flatten the curve. This is how we beat it. Like, they were using words that would basically make us feel like there's going to be an end to this thing. However, it was obvious that that wouldn't be the case, because it was following the kind of pattern that the flu or the common cold exhibits. And we know there is no cure or vaccine for either the common cold or the flu. And so when they started talking about the vaccine for COVID, it kind of was like, what the heck? First of all, how y'all do that so quick? And secondly, if there's no cure or vaccine or remedy really for the common cold or the flu, because we all know the flu shot is also a dub, but it's not mandatory to get it anyway. Because of that, I just kind of felt like, well, the vaccine is going to be much like the flu shot, and it's not really, something that needs to happen. And that was just my original little feelings about it. I think the biggest issue I'm finding with this whole vaccine situation is the extreme divide it has caused. And even our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has added fuel to the fire, where the divide is like, and it just boggles my mind to hear some of the things that are coming out of his mouth. Like, it really boggles my mind, because he obviously, before he came into office, he was definitely a fan favorite. Not my favorite. I really don't care about politics, but he was definitely a fan favorite. Everybody was goo goo gaga over him because his dad was a prime minister before. Like, all types of foolishness that really have nothing to do with anything. But originally, like I said, when they were announcing the vaccines, they were making it seem like the vaccine was going to be the be-all end-all of COVID. However, that narrative kept changing, just like the situation with COVID kept changing. So when COVID first hit the scene, girl, the narrative behind it switched every single day. If you were constantly watching the news and you listened to the news back in March of 2020, and up until summertime when they opened back up, because cases had looked like they were dropping, if you watch the news around that time, every single day it was something different. It was, you need to stand 6 feet apart. Then it was, it doesn't matter if you're standing 6 feet apart, you need to wear a mask. Oh, the masks don't protect you. Oh, you need to do this. Oh, you need to do that. And every time, every single day on the news, it was just different information, and it got really confusing for everybody, and everybody was frustrated. But it didn't matter, because we weren't allowed to go outside for non-essential services, and the whole entire world was shut down. It was crazy. Still is crazy. Once the symptoms and stuff started to be made public, people started looking at the last the 2 months prior to being shut down or locked down and realize, oh, that's what was wrong with me. I'm one of those people. I was so sick, me and all my kids. And what I realized is that COVID hit us all in a different way. And I've talked about this before, but COVID hit us all in a different way. So with Salem, we thought it was an ear infection at first. And so I had brought her to the children's hospital, and I waited and waited and waited and literally almost left the hospital because the wait was so long and I was so unprepared when I had gone. I kind of just ran out my house when I brought her. And so I had grown extremely impatient. The hospital packed full of people with their kids because it was a children's hospital. Literally the minute that I stood up to leave, I was like, we got to go. I didn't have a diaper bag with me. I didn't have anything. I was just in such a panic to bring her to see what was wrong with her because she had been tugging. As soon as I stood up, like ready to bounce, the doctor came out and called us, and I was like, oh my God, like, thank you, Jesus, because we was about to go. Like, I didn't have any more time. I was gonna figure it out later, go to her peds, which is what you should do in a situation like that, go to the pediatrician instead, but I didn't know that at the time. So I had been waiting at the children's hospital. Yeah, so she had an ear infection, and then it just was a trickle effect and a whole slew of events from the ear infection to then the coughing and the shallow breath and not just regular coughing, like a super duper painful cough that feels like a freaking gargoyle is gonna bust out of your chest. It feels like your ribs are gonna break, literally. There was the runny nose, there was the sneezing. We were drinking ginger tea and lemon like it was going out of style. Like, we were really trying to get better. I was literally laying my hands on my throat and praying over myself because every time I had laid down in the bed, I could feel like fluid filling up in my ears. And I'm like, she was prescribed an antibio for her ear infection. You know, the banana one that you used to get when you were a kid? Tastes the same, by the way. So I had been giving her that. Belle didn't have an ear infection, but she had the cough, the running nose, the sneezing. She had a fever. Both of my kids had fevers. I wasn't pregnant yet, but we were all sick as dogs, okay? To top it all off, we had pink eye. And it's not pink eye that you treat and then it just goes away. No, the pink eye kept coming back. I was constantly changing my pillowcases and stuff, and me and the girls were just sick as dogs, okay? So obviously, when they started announcing about vaccines, I'm just like, okay, well, I've had it. I have antibodies. I have natural immunity. I don't really need to get a vaccine. I don't really feel like it's necessary because it's just like when we were kids, we got chickenpox. I mean, if you have chickenpox, you don't really need to get the chickenpox vaccine. And so I don't know of anybody after, like, I don't even know what year that was. It was probably like 90. I don't think I was in school yet. So I'm going to say 96. It was 95 or 96, which is the same year that the vaccine came out. My sister was school aged. She's 3 years older than me. And she had contracted chickenpox. And so she came home, and because I was little sister and I wouldn't leave her alone, obviously I'm gonna get it too. It was inevitable. So my parents didn't even try to prevent it. Like, it was gonna happen. So we let it happen. And because we had it, we don't need to have the vaccine for it because of natural immunity, right? So that's kind of how I look at the COVID-19 situation and the vaccine situation. I'm like, okay, if I've had it, why is there not an option to test for antibodies? And if you have had it, you shouldn't be required to get the vaccine. And it's more so of a comfort thing as well. Like, my comfort level just is not there because, one, everything changed every single day from the very beginning until to this day. Because originally with the vaccine as well, like I said, they were saying, oh, it's going to be the end of this thing. We have to get ahead of it, blah, 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 and the vaccine is going to be the answer. But my whole thing is, like, I mean, cancer and HIV and AIDS and all these things have been around for so long. Obviously, they're not a common cold and flu that you can't just pass, right? You can't just pass it to the next person just by being in their vicinity, breathing their air or whatever. It's not the same thing. But my point is that there has been billions of dollars of research that have gone into these things, and you're telling me they can't come up with an answer for those life-threatening diseases, but in the matter of 5 months they can come up with a vaccine for something that is just popping up on us. Like, these are the questions I need answers to. And people might say, oh, that's not a good comparison because one is a blah, 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 and the other is blah, blah, blah. But I think my question is very valid, because if billions of dollars of research have gone into this, how did this thing that just came out of nowhere all of a sudden have an answer right away? I don't get it. And I also don't understand why the vaccine had been pushed the way it is. From the very beginning, they were offering incentives. Like, when have we seen this? And these are the questions that nobody's asking. When have we seen this? When have we seen people offering free food if you show your vaccine sticker? Like, what? What is that? I don't get it. Like, that's craziness to me. And that kind of stuff made me further, like, look at it with a side eye and be like, eh. Apart from that, the extreme division that it's caused between the people that are unvaccinated, who are choosing to be unvaccinated for various reasons across the board, they're boxing it into, you're an anti-vaxxer. No, like, how is it just unvaccinated people are automatically anti-vaxxers and vaccinated people are, God's gift to earth at this point? I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand why it has to be that way. I've seen friendships fall apart because of the heated debate that this is causing, and nobody's batting an eye about it. It's like, why? And the leaders, the world leaders, are not helping at all. They're like joining in on the foolishness. We have some leaders that are being like, F your mask mandate, F your vaccine. And then we have other leaders that are like, no, you need to go get a vaccine. You have to wear your mask. Blah, blah, blah. My whole thing is, I am not opposed to wearing a mask. I'm not even opposed to the vaccine. And that's what I think is so unfair, that just because I don't want to get the vaccine, one, because of natural immunity, but two, because I don't feel like it's done its fair share of time, per se. It's the first of its kind. I don't want the first of anything of its kind. Not a cell phone, not an Xbox, not a vaccine. Okay, it's the first vaccine of its kind, mRNA. We don't have another vaccine that is an mRNA vaccine. All the other vaccines that have come before, the ones that are on those yellow cards that we carry to school to say, hey, I want to be a student here, all of those vaccines are not like this vaccine. And those vaccines have actually proven to be effective. The thing about the COVID vaccine is that people are still contracting the virus if they have it. People are still spreading the virus if they have the vaccine. People are still dying. People are still hospitalized. Despite the fact that the narrative has been changed time and time again, that if you have it, your symptoms are lessened. If you have the vaccine, you will avoid hospitalization. You will not die. Yet there's still a percentage of people that are going through all those things despite the fact that they are vaccinated. And that is why I'm asking the questions that I'm asking, because I don't understand why or how they can mandate something that is clearly causing issues. Nobody's talking about the menstrual issues that women are going through after taking their vaccine shots, whether it's the first dose or their second dose, and now their third dose. Nobody's talking about this. There are women that are post-menstrual, so they've gone through menopause. They haven't had their period in like 5 years, 10 years. Some women that have IUDs that don't get their period got their shot, and now they are showing extreme bleeding. I saw a lady that has been bleeding for 22 days. What? Oh, but that's just a side effect. We already have enough to deal with as women, girl. I have not had my period since I gave birth to Nola, and I have no intention on getting it anytime soon. I don't want it. Every time I get my period, it don't last long. I get pregnant. It's like, no, I don't need these problems. I don't need to be bleeding for longer than I'm supposed to be bleeding for. That's number one. Number two, especially because it's not just bleeding. There's a side of cramps and death going on inside of my womb when my period comes, and I'm not interested in that. But nobody's talking about these things. Everybody's just like, oh yeah, who cares? Get the vaccine so we can go outside. Like, they locked us inside for 2 damn years. I don't care about outside at this point. I'm over outside. What is going on outside for me? Absolutely nothing. I just have a lot of questions, and I feel really insecure about what we've been fed. Okay, I feel insecure about the government and how they're acting right now. I feel misled. I feel duped, bamboozled, and hoodwinked, okay? Because they're not telling us whole truths. They're not even telling us half truths. They're just telling us whatever sounds good for the day, and I'm not cool with that at all. Now, aside from women suffering from menstrual issues after getting their vaccines, we also have people that have had other side effects from their vaccines. Blood clots. When they had the Bell's palsy thing going on with the face, like, why are these not bigger issues? I don't get it. I went and got I have all my other vaccinations from the time I was a child. Okay? Every 10 years you gotta get your tetanus shot. I don't have a problem with vaccinations. I just have a problem with this vaccination because I feel like it has not done its fair share of trials, its fair share of research. If I am also breastfeeding, you can't even have certain foods or drinks, or you can't even be on certain diets when you're breastfeeding. Why should I feel secure getting some kind of vaccination while I'm breastfeeding? This time during my pregnancy, they were pushing the flu shot on me. I have never in almost 30 years gotten a flu shot, because the same way that we felt about the flu shot when it first rolled out was like this, only not as intense. And they weren't offering incentives back then, and people did protest the flu shot. And as we know it, the flu shot is not mandatory. The flu shot is not mandatory. And the thing is, I'm not even like some kind of conspiracy theorist. I just have a lot of questions that I think require answers. And until I get these answers, I don't want anything to do with the joke, the prick, the ting. I don't want anything to do with it. Like, I don't want it. I really just don't want it. Because if you're going to tell me I can come to Krispy Kreme donuts and get free donuts because I went out and got vaccinated, I think something's wrong. There should not be an incentive to get a vaccine. And a part of the reason is because it's already been paid for by the government. So if the government has already paid for something, it needs to get distributed. They're not going to let their money go to waste. So of course, they're going to give out incentives. They also thought that throwing the stimulus money, throwing the COVID relief money at the people would probably be an incentive, but the check was already cashed, honey. The check was already cashed, okay? And then they're probably going to try to say, well, if you get your vaccine, you are eligible for another stimulus. But if you don't get your vaccine, you can't have one. And people are going to be like, oh, well, because guess what? The people that have firmly decided that they don't want anything to do with the vaccine, their minds are made up. I'm not even saying that I would never get the vaccine. I'm not saying that, but that's what the media is pushing right now. And we're gonna get into Nicki Minaj in a second. The media is pushing that if you decide that right now you're not feeling it, you have natural immunity and you don't want it, they are pushing that you are an anti-vaxxer, which is completely a false narrative. I bring my kids to the doctor to get vaccinated. I bring myself, okay? The only thing that I have not injected myself with, because I feel that my immune system is good enough to fight, is the flu shot. I never have, and I never will get a flu shot. But at this point, the flu shot is looking more damn appealing than the COVID-19 shot. And I'll tell you why. Because it's been around for long enough, okay? It's been around very long. We don't see people dropping dead from it. We don't see people getting blood clots. We don't see people's periods being messed up, their whole menstrual cycle being messed up. We don't see, swollen body parts. We don't see that with the flu shot. The flu shot has been around for years at this point. And in my personal humble opinion, I would be more comfortable getting that than getting the COVID-19 shot. Am I going to go out and get the flu shot tomorrow? No, don't think that there's a need to. I would take my chances. You know what I mean? It's the same way I feel about COVID-19 though. If I go out to the grocery store where vaccine passports are not mandatory, I can still catch COVID-19 at the grocery store. I can still spread it at the grocery store, but my passport, if I had a vaccine, would not be mandatory there. So it's like, why are they picking and choosing where you can go and where you can't go? They obviously cannot take food away from us, right? They can't take grocery shopping away from us. Or can they? They can't take it away, but they can take away the very things that they have taken away the last 2 years. In-person dining or dining inside of a restaurant, you have to show your passport, which, as we know, winter is coming, so that's about to end for outdoor dining. They took away movie theaters a long time ago. I haven't been to the movies, girl, in I don't know how long. They're taking away gyms. They've caused enough problems with locking us in the house for 2 years straight. People have become fatter than fat. There's so many memes about the COVID weight gain. It's added stress. Like, they literally played with our mental health by telling us we can't see family, we can't see friends, we can't. What in the dictatorship is this? What is happening? They've done all this and then have the nerve to say, well, if you don't get the vaccine now, you won't be able to do these things that you love to do. If you're like me, you probably don't care, because Justin Trudeau literally got on national television talking about, if you want to get on a plane or a train in these coming months, you better get your vaccine. And I'm like, sir, why can't a COVID test suffice? I don't get it. If you go for a test that was free, which they're now starting to charge for them, if you want to travel, I don't see why that can't be an option. They're basically talking out of both sides of their mouth, because if they're saying, okay, if you get the vaccine, you have the freedom to do all this, despite the fact that you can still contract and spread with the vaccine, even if your chances are lessened, which they've proven to not really be. You can still do it. So I don't understand why, if you are vaccinated, you don't have to get a COVID test, but if you're unvaccinated, you have to get a COVID test, especially like for the teachers, because that's what I saw for schooling. If you have the vaccine, aren't required to get a test. 2 tests every week, I think it is, at least here in Ontario. You aren't required to get a test if you're vaccinated as a teacher. But if you're unvaccinated, every 2 times a week you have to be tested. How does that make any sense? So basically you're telling us that if you are vaccinated and you have it, maybe you're asymptomatic, it's okay for you to waltz into your classroom of 30 odd students and pass it on to all those students because you're vaccinated and nobody's gonna know. How would they know? How would they know? How is that logic? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. It literally doesn't make any freaking sense. If you're going to test the unvaccinated, you have to still test the vaccinated, because both people can carry and can spread. And that's all the people that are saying, like, aren't really interested in the vaccine. That's all they're saying. They're like, why are we being treated like second class, third class, and fourth class citizens when, one, y'all done stole the land, number one, but that's another story for another day. Y'all are telling us we can't do stuff on land that y'all don't even own. What? Girl, child, they finna arrest me. They finna arrest me, child. If you're not asking these questions, whether you are for the vaccine or against the vaccines, something is wrong. If you think that it's okay for you to walk into a restaurant and they are scanning a code and asking you for your personal freaking identification, if you're not ordering alcohol, is okay, something is very wrong. I don't go up to people and randomly ask them about their last pap smear, about their, last tetanus shot, about, if they're vaccinated against HPV. Like, I don't go up to people asking them that. And if I had a business, I wouldn't ask people that, because it's personal and privileged information. You share that information with your doctor. You're not obligated to share it with anybody else. That's just how the world works. You're really not supposed to just go on and flip in your freaking health card at every freaking restaurant you walk into, or the gym or whatever. Like, you should be able to freely go and enjoy yourself without having to show ID and proof that you are vaccinated. I think it's such a violation of privacy. And like, if you're 16 and you go to the doctor, your doctor is not even allowed to talk to your parent at that point about anything regarding you if you don't consent for your doctor to share that information with your own parent. So why do I walk into a restaurant now, or the gym, or the casino? Child, a gambler is about to go get their pricks, honey. Or they're gonna be doing the underground gambling and they're gonna be all arrested. But why is this being, you know, the new normal, to be able to ask your customers to show proof of anything? I don't understand. Originally, before they even rolled it out, they said it's a choice. It will not be mandatory. But that was, again, a lie, okay? Because Justin Trudeau definitely was one of the people saying that it will be an optional thing. But then they started pressing people about their jobs. My best friend, Salem's godmother, is a nurse, okay? Not a PSW, a whole nurse. And her job was being threatened. They told her she got to October 15th, child, okay? October 15th to show proof of vaccination. She will not have paid leave for 2 weeks. And also, if she doesn't get her vaccine by October 1st, she will be terminated. How is that fair? And I get it. She's a healthcare worker. I mean, she has preschool children. She can get sick from her kids, but she would have the vaccine and still get sick from her kids and still show up to work if she doesn't know that she's sick from her kids, you know, and then she can still spread it. So it's kind of like, what is the point? If this vaccine is not doing a good enough job at stopping the virus, at least stopping from either contracting or transmitting, then why is it being mandatory? And why are they jeopardizing small businesses? Because that's who I've been seeing complaining on like CP24 Twitter post. Small business owners are the ones that have been threatened from the beginning of the pandemic, because even me as a nail tech had been threatened. Like, my business was like, well, see you never, because they said essential services only. And I'm not gonna get fined because my clients want to come in for a nail appointment and they told us that we can't have anybody at our house that's not staying for 14 or more days. Like, please explain to me how somebody like me, or even a restaurant owner, sustains their business when you know that people are going to be belligerent probably about a random ass Joe telling them they need to show ID to come into the establishment. It's wintertime, it's cold, it's Canada. The outdoor dining over the last 2 years has gone on for longer than it's supposed to. People literally will sit outside in the snow to eat their food because there was no inside dining. But that is not what people want to do. They're doing it because they were desperate. They're doing it because their mental health was being challenged by being locked up in your home for over 90 days. And then the patterns that we see with COVID is, last year it was the same thing. They were like, oh, this will be gone by summertime. By summertime, we'll have it under control. Summertime came. It looked like the numbers were dying down, because at that time, they're still to this day reporting on cases when I don't understand why, but that's neither here nor there. They open the block back up when summertime hits. They say, okay, you guys can go dine. You guys can go do this. You guys can go do that. Then flu season starts. It gets cold outside. People's noses are running. People are getting sick. And the cases shoot back up around this time, around September, October, November. And then everybody's acting all surprised. Why did you guys decide to open the restaurants back up? What's going on? Why did you guys decide to open the restaurants back up? And then have the audacity to blame the rise in cases on the unvaccinated, when that's not the case. And that's the narrative they keep spinning. Because I know, as an unvaccinated person, I don't really care to go freaking frolic in the freaking restaurants. Like, I don't care. I go out once in a blue moon. I know I'm not sick because I've been home the whole damn time. I don't go anywhere. So, you know what I mean? So, I think a lot of people that are unvaccinated are very cautious. I'm not the type of person that hates wearing a mask. You know, when I get hot, I get annoyed, but like, I rather my mask. I haven't had a cold in like forever. I always get colds. But since 2019, since the last time I was sick with COVID, I haven't been sick. You know what I mean? So I don't mind wearing my mask to the grocery store. I probably will never stop wearing a mask. I love wearing a mask, you know? If it's going to keep me from being sick, especially because I already suffer with allergies all year round, I don't mind it. But I just feel like the way that this is going, it's super duper unfair. And the segregation and the divide that it's causing amongst people, amongst the general population, is really sad. And I think it's wrong for the leaders to be behaving the way they are. And their campaigns right now, because there's a freaking emergency vote going on right now, or emergency election going on, and the campaigns that these people are doing it's nastier than ever. And so you have people ready to put somebody else in the lead, or to lead the country, that is really not any better than the current person that's in the lead, and you don't know what you're gonna get. And so now there's even more divide, because on top of arguing about whether you're gonna be vaccinated or unvaccinated, now you gotta argue if you're liberal or conservative or any of the other parties. I really don't know what to make of it. We are living in some crazy times. Apart from the stuff that's happening on the other side of the world, the stuff that's happening in our own backyards, I think they're putting too much pressure on us after messing with our mental health. The suicide rates in Canada had skyrocketed during the pandemic, and nobody's talking about that, but they're telling us we must go get vaccinated. Like, what? Look at what you guys did. What I don't understand is why we're not just allowing COVID to run its course. I can't speak for anybody else, but for me personally, if I were to get COVID again and I were sick, just like the first time, I just stay home. I didn't even know I had COVID, and my intent or my instinct was, okay, you can't go anywhere. You're really, really sick. That was it. My mom, sick, stayed home. You know what I mean? Like, we were all sick. And so if I were to get it again, what do you think I'm not going to the hospital. Like, I wouldn't go. And I think a lot of people that are unvaccinated feel that way. And so that's why I don't really believe that when they're putting these numbers out to scare us and saying, oh, there's this many cases and there's 300 cases, and out of 300 cases, 256 were unvaccinated. I don't freaking believe anything they tell us. Do I believe COVID is real? Absolutely. Do I believe that vaccines work? Yes. Do I believe that this vaccine works? No, not really. You know, if they came out with a cancer vaccine tomorrow, which I know is a little far-fetched, and that's probably not something that they can actually do, but if they came out with that tomorrow, I wouldn't be opposed to getting it, because I know it's been years and years and years and years into the making of it. If they came out with any kind of vaccine that we know they've been studying for eons, I wouldn't be opposed to it, because I know that there's been billions of dollars of research going into it. But that's also why I know that they're probably never going to drop the cure or the vaccines for anything like that, because they're billion-dollar businesses. And if we look at the stocks and bonds, if we look at the stocks for the pharmaceutical industry, where Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, whatever, all of the people that have made vaccines, all those companies, if we look at the numbers, girl, well, people will keep saying, like, oh, trust the science and trust the science, but the science is telling us that there is room for improvement. That's all the science has been telling us. I mean, that's what I'm getting from it. I feel like it needs more time in the incubator. It's like if you take a baby out of the womb before it's supposed to come out of the womb naturally. Or if you have a premature baby, they have to keep it in the NICU. This vaccine needs to go back to the NICU. That's like, there's lots of kinks. And instead of admitting, you know what, guys, because it's too late now, they are doubling, tripling, and quadrupling down. They cannot say, you know what, guys, because this is the first vaccine of its kind, unfortunately, there are some kinks that we still have not worked out. Take it at your own risk. That's a fair statement, and then it shouldn't be mandatory. And my BFF just texted me back because I asked her if she got her shot yet, and she said no, she's waiting until the very last minute. There are literally frontline workers that are protesting outside of their hospitals that they work at right now. That's not for no reason. They know the science. I mean, they're not doctors, but they know the science. From what I've been reading, they are apparently not going to be forcing you to take it for work purposes, but you have to show your passport to eat at freaking Dave and Buster's. Like, girl, what? Like, how does that make any sense? Either commit to it or don't commit to it. But I think they realize how devastating it would be if they really tried to force it more than they're forcing it. It's like putting a square peg in a round hole. It's just not working. People are upset and people are being vocal about what they're feeling. And I think as citizens, we have the right to that. But they're basically telling us, hey, it's optional. But I mean, if you don't want to get it, you don't have to. But just know that you won't be able to do this and that. And you know, it's like dangling a freaking Twinkie. I would say a carrot, but like, who wants a carrot? Okay, who wants a carrot? And one thing I know is that I don't fall into temptation, okay, child? I don't got time. Every day I pray against falling into temptation. So they could try to tempt me all they want with their little incentives and trying to take things away and tell me I can't go back to Jamaica ever again. And it's like, maybe I should get the vaccine. No, I'm not going to get it. Okay? Y'all better test these antibodies. If I have the antibodies, y'all need to leave me alone. Why is nobody asking these questions? Y'all are trying to say that even if you've had it, at least go get one dose. Why? Let me rely on my body. Because how is Justin Trudeau talking about her body, her choice for women's rights and abortion issues? But when I say my body, my choice about the vaccine, it's a problem. The same way that they're trying to govern in Texas women's bodies that have no business governing, okay? Like how could you shut down abortion clinics? How could you make abortion illegal? That's neither here nor there. Either way, the same way they're saying those things, it should be applied here. My body, my choice. I mean, the vaccines that they say that they implement for schooling, totally fine. But this in particular, it needs to stop. It needs to stop, especially when the survival rate is so damn high. And maybe you fall into the 1%, but if that is how the good Lord above calls me home to glory, girl, sayonara, peace, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya, okay, because it's very ghetto down here right now. And child, I didn't practically finish my makeup. I feel like if you want to go get it, you should be able to go get it, and nothing should stop. I feel like masks should still be worn regardless. First of all, though we say healthcare is free here, we are tax-paying people. We pay taxes, so healthcare is not free. Our taxes pay for the healthcare. So for Justin Trudeau to also then go on TV and say that ICU beds should be for vaccinated people, why are the vaccinated people at the hospital to begin with? That's what I need to know. Like, what? Don't talk out of both sides of your mouth. Don't say that it's going to lessen your symptoms and you're not going to be hospitalized and you're going to be at home chilling. Girl, when I had COVID-19, I was at home chilling, okay? It was painful, but I'm not going to even step foot in the hospital if I get COVID-19. I don't want to be put on a ventilator. I don't want none of that. I will take my chances at home in my own bed in the comfortability of my home, surrounded by my family, because what you're not going to do also is all the people that have gone to the hospital with COVID-19 and passed away, their family did not get to see them. Child, they couldn't even bury them properly. Like, they couldn't even say their goodbyes properly. I wouldn't step foot in the hospital. And I think a lot of people that don't want the vaccine feel that way about it. Now, if this is 5 years down the line, maybe even 3 or 2 years down the line, and we get to see what effects the vaccine have on people long term, because it hasn't even been 12 months yet. Hello. If we get to see long term, if there's any long term side effects of getting the vaccine and they're not severe, then I might just right there, okay, I might just get a little prickly prick. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say I would never get it. I'm just trying to say I ain't gonna get it right now. Surely not. Y'all got the wrong one. Why would I do that to myself? The enemy tried to tempt Jesus in the garden as well. I will not be tempted, child. As much as Jamaica is calling my name, honey, I'm good with no travel, and that's what the government's failing to realize. You're not going to move the people that are firmly planted on God's green earth, okay? Y'all didn't make me. Y'all not about to tell me what I have to do and don't have to do. As long as I'm not willfully going out and committing crimes, I really don't see why what I choose to do for my own self is an issue. I really feel like if you're vaccinated, you should be comfortable with your vaccination. You should feel safe and guarded with your vaccination. That's how I feel about it. Being though that you can still be a spreader and a contractor of the virus, I feel like you should humble yourself, you know? If we go to a party and I'm unvaccinated and you're vaccinated and we interact with the same people all night, and there's somebody in that party that has the virus, whether they're vaccinated or unvaccinated, doesn't matter, and they spread it to you and me, what difference does it make? You're not immune, and that's the whole point of a vaccine, to create immunity. But it hasn't been doing that, and it's not because people are choosing to not get it, because there's a very high population of the province that I live in that has gotten the vaccine. A lot of my friends have the vaccine. If it's not creating genuine immunity, not a cure, but don't advertise it and market it as a damn cure, and then when it rolls around, oh no, it's not a cure, it's just gonna lessen your symptoms, child, if you do get it. Like, what is that? What is that? I really tried to let the math and it wasn't mathing. So I'm like, no, like, it's gonna take a lot more to convince me to go and get the vaccine. I mean, if there wasn't so much confusion around COVID-19 from the very beginning, and then the vaccine from the very beginning, I would probably be more open to it, you know? But because I regard it as something like the flu shot and don't find it necessary, as I've had the flu many a times, survived it, thank you Jesus, and I've had COVID-19 and survived it, along with my infant children. They've survived it. I personally just don't feel like taking a synthetic version of something to gain the immunity when my body has done a good job fighting it off and allowing me to not contract it again, because I be going to the grocery store all the time. I go to Costco. Costco's capacity is like 500 and something on any given day. That's a lot of people. Even all those festivals that we just saw, those people were probably not vaccinated, and they were there at the festival living their best life, okay? Doing it like it was their B-day. And it's just like the amount of scare tactics that they have tried to instill fear in us after keeping us locked down for X amount of months and really trying to gain control. And it's like, well, I'm that percentage of the population that I'm just not gonna budge on it. Like, I'm really just not gonna budge until I feel confident in my government, until I feel confident in the doctors, until I see that there's no divide between the actual doctors. There are doctors that are against it and doctors that are for it. And it's like everybody has their own opinion, their own judgment call, like, on it. And if the doctors can't even agree, I don't have any business doing this, okay? And then there's the people that are discussing Mark of the Beast, and child, I won't even chance that, child. I'm not even into that aspect of it. But my father called me and for like 20 minutes was trying to convince me to get vaccinated. Like 20 minutes. Bro, we're not even friends. Like, what do you really say to me? No, you're good, because he has it, child. But he's not gonna try to convince me to get it. I said, I already had COVID. I'm not gonna go out and get it. So he's like, yeah, well, I'll tell you like I told everybody else, you know, just, you know, keep your immune system up or whatever. Oh, you should test your antibodies and all these things. So I'm just like, would you please stop? Like, I don't want every phone call and every interaction with somebody at this point in my life to be about the stupid vaccine or whether I'm getting it or whether I'm not. Like, give it up. Like, it's annoying. I'm like, I want to move on. And the thing is, because it's not working the way they anticipated it to work, and the narrative around it has changed so much. There's no choice but for the people that are vaccinated to be aggressive about it. I find that they are super aggressive about it, especially on the internet where everybody's a freaking WebMD. They're so aggressive about their stance on it and attacking people that decide that they don't want it, and the name calling. And it's like, why do you even care? If you have it, you should just feel secure. Don't try to say it's gonna be me. Okay, you're probably in freaking Minnesota vaccinated, I'm over here in Canada unvaccinated. Why are you yelling at me on Twitter? Like, what is that doing for you? I don't understand. I'm nowhere in your vicinity. I'm like in my house 90% of the time. I go shopping like once every 2 weeks. We do big shops so that we don't have to keep going out. I'm not out here recklessly. I take precautions. I wash. Girl, if you see the amount of sanitizer I done go through, like I'm always at Bath and Body Works stocking up on sanitizer, like washing my hands with hot water and soap, like doing everything that I'm supposed to do. And I've been safe and my family's been safe. And if everybody would just have been doing this from the very beginning, because like I was always like this, so I don't understand why people just discovered soap and water. Either way, not here to judge. But like I'm very much perplexed at the attitude and the behavior of the people that are vaccinated or for the vaccine against the people that are unvaccinated. Because for me, I don't care if you're unvaccinated or vaccinated. I think you're gonna do what you're most comfortable doing, and I think that that's how it should be. I don't think that you're an idiot for getting a vaccine, and I don't think you're an idiot for not getting a vaccine. I think that you know yourself, you're aware of yourself, and you've made a conscious decision to do either or. There's so many people that have said they were scared, so that's why they went and did it, and they regret it. And there's other people that said they're scared, but they got it and they're happy. I'm not gonna let anybody scare me into getting it. They're gonna have to drag me out of my house by my ears to get me to take it, pretty much. You know, all I can do is remain in prayer and trust the Lord above with my life and my health. And that's what I've been doing, and that's what I'm always gonna do. And I've talked so long. Let me go put my lashes on because I still need to mention the whole Nicki Minaj situation and then tell you guys why the video is titled what it is titled. Nicki Minaj. So yesterday was the Met Gala, and the day before that was the VMAs. Nicki was due to be at the VMAs, but opted out last minute. Now, of course, there's all kinds of speculation as to the real reason why she opted out, because of the issues surrounding her husband, but that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, she was on Twitter yesterday and she was talking a bit about COVID and the saying that they require vaccination for the VMAs. I mean, for the Met Gala, and that's a part of the reason she's not going, because she wants to do research, and that should be enough. That should be enough. That's all she should have to say. But she also stated that she recently had COVID, and if she gets vaccinated, it's not going to be because it was a requirement for the VMAs. I mean, for an event, a celebrity social gathering. What gets me is that all these rich people are still throwing parties. They never stop throwing parties. They're still acting like this thing is not real. They're still doing the most, you know? They're still living their best lives, while we the people are not allowed to. Even our own government officials have got caught telling everybody stay home, but then was catching flights to private islands or wherever the heck. Where did he go? St. Bart's? Okay, like, it's been drama from the beginning. They were telling us one thing and doing the other. So if we can't trust you with even following your own rules, how do we know y'all is even vaccinated? How do we know they didn't just give y'all a saline shot? And so we can't even trust you guys. So why should we trust anything you're saying? Why should we trust that it's unvaccinated people in the hospitals and dying, and not the people that you guys have given this bootleg vaccine to? Like, why should we trust anything that they say? They haven't given us reason to trust them. Look at the stuff Bill Gates is doing. And as a black person, when we look at things like the Tuskegee trials, child, anytime we have listened to people in leadership, Caucasians, Anytime we have listened to them, it has gone to absolute and utter poop for us, okay? If you don't know what the Tuskegee trials are, you should Google it and be shocked and amazed by it. But like, I don't have a reason to trust the government. People can argue and say it's not the same thing, and that's fair. It may not be the same thing, but I still have no reason to trust them. What have they done to make me feel like this is a good idea, this is safe? They're not even giving you alternate options. They're literally just giving you one thing and one thing only: get vaccinated or suffer. Those are your two options: vaccination or suffer. Vaccination or you're in jail because you can't do anything but go to the grocery store and go home. Get vaccinated or you lose your job. Get vaccinated. So then how is it a choice? It's no longer a choice. Now it's actually mandatory. Now it's, you have to do this or you are no longer a part of society. Well, I'll wait. I can do this for 5 more years if I have to. Maybe Jesus will come by then and we won't have to even go think about stuff like that. But Nicki Minaj is one of, her and Chet Hanks, those are the 2 celebrities that I have seen that have opposing feelings about everything that's going on. They're the only 2 that have been super vocal about it. And because of that, people have jumped on them, especially Nicki, because her platform is absolutely humongous. And so yesterday, she was tweeting about her issues behind the whole vaccination thing, and there are countless articles about what she said, and the titles of all of them are just clickbaiting titles because she's not anti-vax. She's much like me, where we are not anti-vaxxers. We are just not comfortable with this particular vaccine. I think that it's unfair of how the narrative gets spun when you decide that you aren't comfortable with it, because that's exactly what she was saying. She was just saying, you know, I want to do more research. I'm not comfortable with it. Drake was vaccinated and caught COVID. When it hits close to home like that, when you know people personally, she knows Drake personally and Drake was vaccinated and got COVID, and she knows people over in Trinidad that have had issues, and then people are jumping on her saying that's not, sounds like syphilis. It doesn't sound like what? So everybody needs to realize that whether you are vaccinated or not and you contract COVID or get the vaccine, whatever symptoms or side effects that you get from either having it or having the vaccine is going to affect everybody differently, because we are all very different people, and it affected each one of the people in my home differently. So I know from firsthand experience that it's not something that's going to affect all of us the same. Salem had an ear infection. Belle did not. We all had pink eye. I had a crazy cough. My kids had coughs, but their coughs weren't as intense as mine. And we all had runny noses. We all had sore throats. So we had one kid on antibiotics. We're all popping the pink eye, not Visine, polysporin pink eye treatment in our eyes. And it's not just pink eye in one eye. It's literally pink eye in both eyes. Like, our eyes are pussing and they're shut. Every single day we would wake up. I don't think people realize the severity of what was going on around that time before we knew, because the polysporin pink eye was actually sold out. I had to go to multiple locations to try to find one when I needed it, and I could not find one. I was lucky enough to go to a random Shoppers Drug Mart, I think, to get one, but they didn't have it at Walmart. They didn't have it at Rexall, and I was in my neighborhood and just could not find the polysporin pink eye at that time. And the wheezing. And so it affects everybody differently. No 2 people are going to have the exact same textbook symptoms, whether it's from the vaccine or whether it's from COVID itself. I think I've mentioned on my channel about one of my mother-in-law's co-workers. They got blood clots from the vaccine and almost died. Like, literally, she went to the hospital and they told her, if you didn't come here, you would not have woken up. She knew something was wrong and she went to the hospital. Like, and that's at the very beginning of the vaccine rollout. When there's stuff like that and then the menstrual stuff, I think it's fair to just be like, look, there's too much going on that seems really unpredictable with this. Like, at least I know, like, if I bring my kids to get, like, their chickenpox vaccine or their rubella, or their rotavirus vaccine, if I bring them to get those vaccines, there is possible side effects. We know what they are, and they don't cause a whole disruption. They're not blood clots. You know what I mean? They might get a fever. They might not. If they do get a fever, give them some Tylenol or some Motrin, baby Motrin, and you'll be fine. And that's what it's always been. And I can trust that science. But when people are showing up to the hospital with blood clots that they didn't have any pre-existing health issues from before, or people are dying, or if that was the case, I would not be bringing my children to get vaccinated. But we don't have those issues with the original vaccines that we have available. With this new vaccine, yeah, there's just kinks that need to be worked out. And I think that's okay for them to admit. I feel like they need to admit, hey guys, there's some kinks. Sorry if you got it. We don't know what the long-term side effects are going to be. We'll see you, or maybe we won't see you in the next few years. But, you know, I think that they should admit. But if they do, it's going to be problematic. And that's why they're not going to do it. Nikki got attacked. Nothing new there, though. She got attacked for her opinions about it because of her platform or whatever. And I don't think that's right for people to be governing her platform. One thing I also have to mention is at the very beginning of the COVID-19 thing, it's like they were paying the celebrities to hop on Instagram or whatever and say either they got it or encourage us to stay home or in social distance and all these things. And I always found that so strange. It's like as soon as a celebrity got it, they hopped on. I remember Idris Elba and his wife Sabrina were one of the people that got on and did that. The Rock got on Instagram and said, hey guys, I got COVID. Well, like, okay, and when I got COVID, I didn't jump online and say, hey guys, I'm sick. Like, no. I filmed the video, I think, during the time that I had it, and my voice was practically gone. That was kind of, I think, closer to the tail end of it, because it's not like the flu where you have it for like a few days or like even a week and you're good to go again. No, COVID lasts for weeks, okay? It's long. So for like a month we were sick, from January to February. If I got it, I wouldn't be hopping on Instagram like, you know, hey guys, I have it, I'm asymptomatic, I feel fine, but I got tested today and I have it. It was just a weird time. Like, why were the celebs doing that? I don't know. I feel like every time a celebrity posted that they had it, it was so unnecessary. And then the other day, Kathy Griffin posted about her lung surgery. She had to get part of her lung removed because of cancer, even though she's never smoked a day in her life. And so I was like, oh, I wonder if like she's been around people that do smoke and she doesn't tell them like, get away from me with your devil stick, okay? I was wondering about that. But what I found interesting is that she pushed the vaccine in her lung cancer surgery announcement thing. And I'm like, if she didn't contract COVID, why is she bringing up the vaccine? It was so strange. I get it, it's a respiratory thing, but it was unnecessary. She was basically saying, you know, I have lung cancer, I've never smoked, I'm going for surgery soon, and of course I'm vaccinated. Like, it was so random and volunteered when it didn't need to be. She's like, of course I'm vaccinated, but giving like the hypothetical, like if she wasn't vaccinated and she caught COVID and she has lung cancer, it could be devastating. Like, why are we going to the most extreme possible scenario? Girl, go get your surgery and get home and get better. Like, why are we going to from one issue to the next? Why are we doing that? Anyway, and I think that's my number one question. So Justin Trudeau, if you're watching this video, please tell me why we have to get vaccinated. Why can't you guys test people for the antibodies? And if they have the antibodies naturally, then why can't we go on that? Why can't we be given some kind of certification for that versus you have to get the prick? We don't want the prick. So yeah. Anyway, back to the title of this video now, because I've done a lot of talking today, okay? And the intent of this video was more so what I'm about to talk to you guys about, not supposed to be the vaccine, but the vaccine, like, you could talk about it forever, because it's just like, if I were to draw a Venn diagram right now and we were to weigh what happens if you're unvaccinated versus vaccinated, we have the same results on both sides. They will just, it would just be stuff in the middle. Literally stuff in the middle. All the possibilities, stuff right in the middle of the Venn diagram. You know the Venn diagram when you have circle, circle, that overlap? It would be like unvaccinated here, vaccinated here, and then in the middle, all of the things that are possible between being vaccinated and unvaccinated. And there would be nothing in the individual circles. Nothing. Just stuff in the middle. Anyway, neither here nor there. Yeah, so we could talk about this forever, because it's literally like, it just creates this argument and this whirlwind where you're just going around and around in a circle. And it's like, it just never ends. Like, that's why you could talk about it forever. And I think it's made to be that way so that we're constantly distracted about it. I wanted to talk to you guys about breaking up, because I feel like I'm constantly giving and not receiving. I cried like 45 times because this is so dramatic. But I feel like I have to break up with you guys. And I don't mean like, I'm quitting you down. Like, it's not like that. It's just a matter of, so much goes into being a creator. And I am, at my core, a creative person, okay? My whole life is dedicated to art. No matter what I'm doing, it's about art at the end of the day. And I spend so many years on YouTube at this point. I spent so many years dedicating my creativity and my thoughts and my processes to you guys on YouTube. And of course, when I started YouTube, obviously it was never some kind of, I mean, I didn't wake up when I was 6 years old and be like, I want to be a YouTuber, because it wasn't around. And even when I started my channel, it was never like, oh my God, I want to be a big personality on YouTube. It just kind of happened. And God bless me. But I have given a lot to YouTube, and like, I've gone through 3 pregnancies, 2 of which were pretty much on YouTube. The last one wasn't really on YouTube, but like, I worked through all my pregnancies. I've worked through the last like 7 years. I don't even know how long I've been on YouTube, to be honest, but I've worked through the last like 7 years on YouTube. And I literally had to edit videos with a baby on my boob, a baby in my tummy, with only one hand available. Like, I put a lot into it. And I know that doesn't sound like it's a big deal, but it really is. If you know how to edit, or if you know what goes into editing, you need both your hands. But a lot of the times when I'm editing, I actually only use one hand, so it takes me extra long. It's a very time-consuming thing, and I appreciate you guys. I love you guys so much, like so much. I'm not gonna cry. No, I'm not gonna do it, because I'm not leaving. I'm just kind of leaving. I'm leaving temporarily, okay? Hiatus time. I put a lot into it, and the way the algorithm has changed and the way the algorithm works now, there's not a lot of benefit in it for me. And as much as I love creating content, because it's so time consuming and because I'm a parent and I have so many other things going on, I'm actually working on a lot of stuff right now. So YouTube is really just, it's always going to be my little hobby, you know, it's always going to be my little baby. But I have to put my energy into other things right now. And so I'm going to be doing that. I'll be back, but like, I just don't want you guys to be sitting by your computer screen waiting for me to pop up, and I ain't gonna pop up. I mean, I might show up next week because I do have videos that are pre-recorded, but not a lot. And I don't even know if I'll be posting those ones. But because of the algorithm and how much it has screwed me in the last couple years, I just have to step back, because I'm like, I can't keep putting out content and YouTube is not even sending notifications to the people that have them on. It's been time after time after time that I post a video, and YouTube is at this point selecting who they will push my video to, whether you're subscribed or not. So if you're subscribed to me and you watch every single one of my videos, it's a possibility that you still won't get a notification, because the way the algorithm is working, is it's basically preventing my subscribers from even staying subscribed to me. YouTube's unsubscribes people, and they've been doing it for years, right? And I don't know if it's just black creators or what, but my channel has definitely suffered through a lot. And I've seen other people that it just doesn't even make sense. Like, there's people that have millions of subscribers and their view count is like mine. And it's like, what's not, like, this is not adding up. And so my subscriber count versus my view count is crazy a lot of the time, unless I post what YouTube wants me to post. The problem here is that I'm not 20 something anymore. Well, I'm still in my 20s, but like, I'm not like 21, you know. I've grown as a person, and so my content has changed over time. Obviously, you guys have witnessed so many different things with me, and I've had so many like my friend called me the other day, Janelle, if you guys follow her channel, Janelle Wright. But she called me the other day and we were talking about this because she's frustrated with it too, because it's happening to her too. And she's like, she doesn't get it. And I'm just like, girl, me either. I don't understand it. But the way it's working is YouTube wants every channel, well, this is what it feels like. They want every channel to have like a niche or a target market, and they only want you to upload that kind of content. Now, if you're already super duper established, it kind of doesn't matter. But if you're a smaller creator like I am, and I know you guys think I'm a big creator, but I'm really not. I'm a small fish in a big freaking pond. When you have a channel like mine that is so versatile, but it grew when they were pushing my content to a certain market, when I stop posting that kind of stuff, they start taking my viewership away, and they stop sending out my notifications, and they're basically telling me, you're wasting your time. That's a big part of the reason that I'm stepping back, because I have over 300,000 subscribers, but like, I can post a makeup video today and it might get 5,000 views. That doesn't make any sense, because when I used to post a makeup video, when I was posting a lot of story times, my view count was healthy. I mean, you have 300,000 subscribers, you're never going to have 300,000 views unless you have a video that goes viral. I don't know what content YouTube wants me to create, and I don't want to be boxed in either. And so it's been really, really hard for me to film videos and like post videos and like be happy with the content that I'm putting out, because a lot of times it's not content that I want to put out. But then when I put out the content that I want to put out, YouTube does not promote it, and it does not even put it alongside videos that are similar to it, because that's not where they want me. I'm not talking to the YouTube head office to figure out, hey yo, what kind of content do you guys want me to push? Because if I put out a story time, they might send it to multiple people. If I put a life update, they'll send it to multiple people. If I do a really clickbaity title, they might send it out to multiple people. But I don't know which one they want me to do, because sometimes I'll do a story time and it's not that, or sometimes I'll do a life update and it's not that. And I'm like, I don't know what they want, and I'm not trying to figure it out. I'm really not trying to figure it out, because if I can't put out great content for all of my subscribers to enjoy, then there really is no point. Like, I am not 22 and this is a fun little hobby. I have kids, like, I got stuff to do. I don't have time to be spending countless hours filming and editing and then putting my work out, and there's no return on my investment, you know, because my time is everything, especially because I have children. I've been up here for probably almost 2 hours filming, and I don't even know how long this video is going to take me to edit, because there's so much talking. There's not going to be a lot of cutouts, but I've spent so much time up here, and I have a 6-month-old that's still nursing. But luckily, my mom is minding her while I film, while I'm working, and a lot of people don't have that. On top of that, I'm doing all this, but I have a back issue. I actually go for a chiropractic appointment and a massage appointment every single week, because my back is so bad. And if I'm sitting for too long, or if I'm standing for too, girl, if I do anything, my back and my feet are always hurting. And so I think part of that is my car accident. But that's the other thing too. I'm self-employed, so I don't get benefits from YouTube. It's only because I'm married that I have benefits to even go to my chiropractic and my massage appointments, and it's covered. Other things that you can't really get with your like OHIP coverage, I get through Shooter's work insurance. And so, I mean, it's super beneficial that I have his work insurance, but if I didn't, even like mental health stuff, which you definitely need a therapist when you have a job like this, because there's so much that goes into it. You can get burnt out, and also you're a public figure and you're getting attacked online for absolutely no reason. You know what I mean? So there's that part of it. There's so many different factors, and because I'm naturally a giver and I'm constantly giving, it's a lot to not receive what I feel I deserve back. You know what I mean? And for YouTube to be trying to be a puppet master almost with a lot of different channels, not just mine. Obviously, you probably have heard people complain about the algorithm before. Because of the puppet mastery that is YouTube, the content that I'm producing is not reaching the audience that it needs to reach, and it's just not fair, right? I guess that's also why it's really important to if you guys have YouTubers that you love, make sure that you guys like, subscribe, comment, and even share their videos, no matter how small the channel is or how big the channel is, because engagement definitely matters. But if you're not getting notifications, I mean, there's nothing you can do, because you have your own lives, and I don't think that the consumer or the subscriber should be like having to check the channel that they know they put their notifications on for, and being like, what the heck, I missed 3 videos. Like, I get those comments all the time, like, I haven't seen you since you had Salem. I haven't seen you since you were pregnant with Salem. I haven't seen you since you did this story time. I haven't seen you since you did that story time. I haven't been getting your notifications for that long. I didn't forget about you, but I just thought you weren't posting. Like, you know what I mean? Because they're anticipating that if their notifications are on, they're going to get the notification. It is not a bug. It is on purpose. They do it on purpose. And so it's like very frustrating for people like me and people like my friend Janelle, who put out content and YouTube tries to then box you in and say you can't put out anything other than this. And if you do, well, we're just not going to promote your videos because you're not trendy and YT. Even like my vlogs, like my style of vlogging is obviously not like many people's vlogs on YouTube, but they don't really care for me to be vlogging. I don't know why they even care what I put out. It should just be like, you have 300,000 subscribers. You're creating content for those subscribers. Let me, once you hit publish, they should get a freaking notification to their phone, or it should at least show up in their subscriber thingy so that they can see that, oh, Bo posted a video. Yeah, it's gotten very frustrating simply because I put so much time and effort into my stuff, and YouTube doesn't even care to like send it to the people that actually want it. You know what I mean? It'd be one thing if like people don't have notifications on and they only watch my channel every once in a while, but they are subscribed. But for them to be unsubscribing people and people tell me that YouTube unsubscribed me, I've subscribed again and they've unsubscribed me, it's not a bug. They tried to kill certain channels, and I don't know why my channel is one of those channels, but it is, okay? So I'm working on a whole bunch of other stuff that you guys will see one day soon, but like I'm super duper in like hush mode and nothing before it's time. So I'll be posting. I just won't be giving you guys the consistency that you know and love, and I will miss you guys. You guys can message me. I don't know if I don't know where I'll be posting. I might just post Instagram pictures, you know? I don't know what I'm actually going to be doing in terms of social media, but I am definitely going to do a little bit of a hiatus and probably just go back to posting every once in a while instead of so frequently. I think I've given you guys so much of me over the last few years, and we need to break up. When I do post a video, just know that it's me being the toxic ex that is checking up on you. But yeah, I love you all so much. It is my sister's birthday today, so I don't think she's watching this. Well, she might be watching. Child, I don't know if she's watching it, but if she is, happy birthday, sis. Okay, like my actual sister, the one that you guys have met, it's her birthday today, so show her love in the comments. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'll keep you guys in my prayers and keep me in yours. And I hope you guys know this is super duper hard for me to do, but I feel like there's a lot of transitions going on in my life, and this is definitely one of them. And I think it's kind of been long overdue. But yeah, like I said, nothing before its time. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of a step back. I didn't want to leave abruptly and just stop posting, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I'm not even gonna stop really posting. I'm just not gonna be as consistent. Like, you might get a video tomorrow, and then you might not get another video for like 3 months. I don't really know how I'm gonna be structuring it, but I am kind of busy. So you guys will see all the things that I'm working on, and hopefully sooner rather than later. So I love you all so much, and thank you for the last 7 years. I mean, 7 is the number of completion, so hey. I really do appreciate you guys. Love you guys down. Love you like oxtail and gravy and rice and peas and Kit Kat. I love you guys down bad. So I'm glad I got through this without crying, even though I keep feeling my eyes trying to water. And like, girl, no. Whew. Okay. I will see you guys when I see you.